Hello and welcome to the AI with Arun show. In this video, we'll talk about the comprehensive analysis of the tragic Air India flight AI171 crash that occurred on June 12, 2025. To summarize, here are the key facts about the tragic accident. Air India flight AI171 was operating a routine service from Ahmedabad to London, Gatwick, when disaster struck just minutes after takeoff. The aircraft departed at 13:38 local time and crashed at 13:42, giving the flight duration of only 4 minutes. The Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, registration VTANB, was 11 years old and had been in regular service with Air India. Out of the 242 people on board, 230 passengers and 12 crew members, only one person survived. His name is Vishwakumar Ramesh, a 40-year-old British citizen of Indian origin who was seated in the emergency exit row. The aircraft crashed into the BJ Medical College hostel in Meghani Nagar area of Ahmedabad, causing additional calamities on the ground. 9 people on the ground were killed, including 4 medical students, and 20 others were injured. The crash site provides important clues about the final moments of Flight AI 171 and the impact forces involved in this accident. The aircraft crashed into the BJ Medical College hostel in the Meghani Nagar area of Ahmedabad. This is a densely populated residential and educational area which unfortunately contributed to the grand casualties. The hostel was a 3 story concrete building that housed medical students. At the time of the crash, around 1:42 p.m., many students were in the building, either studying or between classes. The timing contributed to the casualties among the medical students. The weather conditions at the time were clear and good visibility, so weather was not a contributing factor to the accident. The aircraft approached the building at a shallow angle, suggesting it was in a controlled descent rather than a vertical dive. The impact caused severe structural damages to the hostel building. The aircraft's tail section became deeply embedded in the building, as you can see in the photograph. The force of impact was tremendous, completely destroying the front portion of the building. A fire broke out immediately after the crash, fed by the aircraft fuel. However, the fire department's quick response helped contain the blaze and prevented it from spreading to other adjacent buildings. The crash site has been secured and is now the focus of intensive investigation. Recovery teams have been working round the clock to collect debris, personal effects, and any evidence that might explain what caused the accident. The investigation into Flight AI 171 is being conducted by an international team of experts reflecting the global nature of modern aviation safety. The Indian Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau is leading the investigation as the accident occurred in Indian airspace. However, because this involves a Boeing aircraft with Rolls Royce engines and the flight was destined for the UK, international expertise is essential. The US National Transportation Safety Board is participating because Boeing is an American manufacturer. The UK Air Accidents Investigation Branch is involved because London was the destination. Boeing has provided technical experts who understand the 787 systems in detail, and Rolls Royce has sent engine specialists. Crucially, both black boxes have been recovered from the wreckage. The flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder were found on Friday morning, less than 24 hours after the crash. Both devices appear to be in good condition despite the severe impact. The flight data recorder contains technical information about the aircraft's performance, including engine parameters, flight controls, altitude, speed, and system status. The cockpit voice recorder captures the conversations between the pilots and any audio from the cockpit during the final minutes. Analysis of this data is currently underway at specialized facilities. Preliminary results are expected within 48 to 72 hours, though a complete analysis can take several weeks. The international cooperation in this investigation demonstrates the global commitment to aviation safety and ensuring that lessons learned from this tragedy can prevent future accidents. Based on preliminary investigation findings and expert analysis, investigators have been able to rule out several potential causes while focusing on others that might remain under active investigation. Bird strike has been ruled out because no bird carcasses or feathers were found in the wreckage or on the aircraft's flight path. Additionally, the low altitude and quick timelines make bird flight strike unlikely as a primary cause. Fuel contamination has been eliminated because other aircrafts using fuel from the same source at Ahmedabad airport had no problems. If fuel contamination were the cause, multiple aircrafts would have been affected. Aircraft overloading is not a factor because the aircraft was carrying 230 passengers in a configuration certified for 248 with adequate weight distribution. While pilot errors cannot be completely ruled out, preliminary evidence suggests the crew responded appropriately to an emergency situation. The Mayday call shows that they recognized the problem and were attempting to communicate with ground control. Dual engine failure is considered highly improbable given the reliability of the Rolls Royce Trent 1000 engines and the fact that simultaneous failures of both engines is extremely rare. The investigation is now focusing on several technical possibilities. Wing flap configuration errors could prevent the aircraft from maintaining lift at low speeds. If the flaps were retracted too early or set incorrectly, this could cause a stall condition. Now, there are reports that the landing gear remained extended during the flight, which would create significant drag and affect the aircraft's ability to climb. Engine thrust settings are also being examined to determine if the engines were producing adequate power for takeoff and climb. The response to this tragedy has been swift and comprehensive, involving multiple levels of government and international cooperation. Prime Minister Modi's visit to the crash site on Friday afternoon demonstrated the national importance of this incident. During his visit, he met with the sole survivor, emergency responders, and local officials. He also announced that the government would provide all necessary support for the investigation and victim assistance. The Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation immediately activated fuel emergency protocols, coordinating with state and national authorities. Multiple hospitals across the city were mobilized to treat casualties, though unfortunately, most of the injuries were to the ground victims rather than the aircraft occupants. International cooperation has been essential given the multinational passenger manifest. The UK government has activated its consular services to support the families of 53 British nationals who were killed. The Portuguese embassy is providing similar support for Portuguese families, and the Canadian consulate is involved in victim identification procedures. Air India has established a dedicated family assistance center at Ahmedabad Airport where the families can receive information, counseling, and support services. The airline has also announced comprehensive compensation package for all the victims' families, so the specific amounts have not been disclosed. The international aviation community has also responded with offers of technical assistance and expertise. This global cooperation is essential for conducting a thorough investigation and ensuring that lessons learned from this tragedy can improve aviation safety worldwide. To conclude this video, it's important to place this tragedy in the broader context of aviation safety and the Boeing 787 Dreamliner's operational history. This accident marks a significant milestone in aviation history as the first fatal crash involving a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Since the aircraft entered service in 2011, more than 1,000 have been delivered to airlines worldwide, accumulating over 10 million flight hours without a single fatal accident until now. The Boeing 787's previous safety record was exemplary with only minor incidents reported. This accident, therefore, represents a significant development that will be closely studied by aviation authorities, airlines, and aircraft manufacturers worldwide. The industry implications are already becoming apparent. Aviation authorities in multiple countries have begun enhanced monitoring of Boeing 787 operations, though no immediate restrictions have been imposed. The investigation findings may lead to revised procedures for flap configuration, updated crew training protocols, and possible regulatory guidance changes. Airlines operating the 787 are reviewing their procedures and training programs to ensure they incorporate any lessons learned from this investigation. Boeing has also committed to working closely with investigators and implementing any necessary design or procedural changes. It is important to remember that aviation remains one of the safest forms of transportation, with fatal accidents becoming increasingly rare due to continuous improvement in aircraft design, pilot trainings, and safety procedures. This tragedy, while devastating, will contribute to making aviation even more safer in the future. The investigation will continue for months, and we can expect preliminary findings within the next couple of weeks. These findings will be crucial for understanding what happened and preventing similar accidents in the future. We hope that you found this information helpful. Thank you for watching the AI with Arun show.